Members, the chair is informed that the other two bills have PCSs or amendments that are yet to be completed. So we're going to go at ease just momentarily. Don't leave the room. The chair does not believe that it's going to be a long delay because if it is, it may have to wait to another committee meeting. So just hang tight. Members, the committee will come back to order. Chair is informed that the committee is in possession of all the documents it needs for House Bill 563, regulate hemp-derived consumables, and kratom. Members, there's a PCS. It was not sent out before 9 p.m., but the chair does not believe that it's controversial, so the chair would just ask for leave of the committee to put the PCS before the committee. Without objection, that PCS will be before the committee. Representative McNeely, do you want to take the amendment up, or you just want to speak to the bill first?
I feel like we need to take the amendment up because there's actually a little bit of a typo in the bill, and the amendment fixes all that.
Okay, the gentleman's recognized to, Representative Dixon is recognized to send forth Amendment ASA 63, Version 1, and we'll hand Representative Dixon a copy. I believe this deals with the milligram amount. Representative Dixon, the gentleman is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. As you see, this moves to amend the bill on page 10, line 35, by deleting the typo 50 milligrams and inserting the correct language that is supposed to be in there, which is 3 milligrams. I'd ask for your support.
Members, is there any discussion or debate on the amendment? Seeing none, Representative Dixon moves for adoption. All those in favor will say aye. All those opposed, no. Ayes have it. The amendment's adopted. Now we're on the bill. Representative McNeely, the gentleman is recognized.
And just to give some clarity to that, it should have been 5, and somehow or another there's a 0 added. So we're not making a real drastic change, just so you know. But back to the bill. The purpose of this bill is to keep our youth from being allowed to obtain products that could possibly intoxicate them at levels of THC or the derivatives of it. So let's end this pathway to marijuana or even stronger drugs, because there is no regulations right now on the hemp CBD industry at all. No age, nothing. And according to ALE, they believe that up to 3/4 of the kids that end up later on getting on marijuana, they found this pathway. We worked with ALE, DOR, DOJ, Retail and Merchants Association, Hemp Growers Association, Sheriff Association, Pharmaceutical Association, and everyone's grandmother living and dead. We worked with everybody to get this bill across, and I feel like it's a really good bill. Be glad to entertain any questions. It's pretty lengthy.
Representative Clemens.
Thank you. Are all those people supportive of it at this point?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
We worked till they were.
Sounds like a lot of work.
It was.
It took until the very end. Representative Dixon, gentleman is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Members of the committee, Representative McNeely's done a tremendous amount of very good work on this. I don't know of anybody that hasn't recognized that we need to do some cleaning up in this completely unregulated situation now, so I would encourage you to support this.
Members, is there further discussion or debate on the bill? Seeing none, Representative Dixon moves for a favorable report to the PCS for House Bill 563 as amended, rolled into a new PCS, unfavorable to the original bill. All those in favor will say aye. All those opposed, no. The ayes have it. The bill receives a favorable report.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, committee.
Members, the chair is going to move on to Senate Bill 692 now. Community College Governance. The chair is informed that there are some drafting matters still outstanding, but we'll go ahead and begin with what we have. There is a PCS, and Representative Jones moves that the PCS be before the committee. Without objection, the PCS will be before the committee. Representative Elmore, does the gentleman want to take up the Kidzu Children's Museum amendment first, or do you want to speak to the bill first?
That's the chairman's amendment, so of course I want to take it up first.
Well, Chair's recently been told the chair has an interest, for some reason, in renaming the Kidzu Children's Museum. One second. Okay. Members, the chair has an amendment. We'll put forth amendment ATC 98 version 1. Representative Elmore, the gentleman speak to the amendment.
Sure. This deals with a financing matching deal with the Children's Museum, and from my understanding, all of the other children's museums are supportive of this happening, and this will help secure some monies to this particular entity. And this needs to happen sooner than later because that decision has to be done by the 1st or mid of December.
Members, is there any discussion or debate on the amendment? Seeing none, Representative Jones moves for its adoption. All those in favor will say aye. All those opposed, no. Ayes have it. The amendment is adopted. Members, the chair's got another amendment now. If Representative Elmore's okay with taking that next one up from Representative Torbett, Amendment ABE 56, version 1.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just to briefly go over
Strike
this.
that. 1 second, Representative Torbett.
Certainly.
The chair wants to see if everyone has received this amendment yet.
I do not have it on my dashboard.
Okay, it looks like we do have amendments from Representative Hardister, so we'll move to Representative Hardister's amendments at this point. The first one is Amendment ATC 96, version 6. Representative Hardister, the gentleman is recognized to speak to that amendment.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Members of the committee, I'm running this amendment on behalf of Representative David Willis, who was unable to be here. It makes some changes to zoning laws in very specific circumstances, as you can see in the amendment. Mr. Chair, if you don't mind, I could defer to staff to explain the technical impact of the amendment.
Which staff member is working on this bill? Members, is there any questions or any debate on the amendment in front of the body? Representative Clemens, the lady's recognized.
Thank you. I think this amendment is related to some zoning changes in the bill, and I do want to more understand what that means. So I don't, sorry, but.
Chair will displace the amendment momentarily, and we'll go to Representative Hardister's next amendment. And has the lady had a chance to see Representative Hardister's next amendment yet to see if? Okay. Representative Hardister is going to be recognized to send forth Amendment ATC 97, version 2. Representative Hardister, the gentleman is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This amendment, as the members could see, relates to allowing civic groups to have access to schools, and also would establish a week for Patriots Day honoring September 11th and Constitution Day, a week honoring Constitution Day. And we do have, I believe Representative Crutchfield is here, can speak if there's further debate necessary. But with that, I move for adoption.
Members, the chair sees Representative Crutchfield seeking recognition. The gentleman's recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This bill, it's the language we actually put in Senate Bill 409 last week that was passed through the rules and went over to the Senate, and they non-concurred. And because the other bills, the language was in that bill was related to illegal cargo theft and aggregated crime bill, they wanted us to move this out of that bill and let it run in education. So this, since it's an education bill, it's back up for consideration today just as part of this education bill, and I'll stand for any questions.
Members, is there discussion or debate on the amendment? Seeing none, Representative Torbett moves for adoption. All those in favor will say aye. All those opposed, no. Ayes have it, and the amendment is adopted.
Thank you, committee.
Thank you, sir. Members, the chair sees that Representative Torbett has an amendment ready, and that's Amendment ABE 56, version 1. Representative Torbett's recognized to speak to the amendment.
Thank you. Having not been a state superintendent, I kind of can understand the predicament that she is in. As a parent of a daughter and a grandparent of two great and wonderful grandsons, when they're being educated, you tend to believe that the person that's elected as the state superintendent of public instruction is in control and is responsible for pretty much everything education. Well, that's not necessarily the case. I think most people would be amazed to understand that the lack of responsibilities she has that have been given and offloaded by this esteemed, august body down through the years to the local LEAs. So what this does, it helps to pretty much better define and change some of the new duties of the state superintendent. For example, to present the budget request to the Department of Public Instruction, the General Assembly, and Office of State Budget and Management. You may think that's her responsibility. Well, it better defines that it is. Also, the State Board approval of contracts. For all contracts let by the Department of Public Instruction for an amount of over $2 million, the State Board of Education will have the right to reject the contract. The board shall set its own policy for review of contracts under this section. The board shall not have the right to reject contracts let by the department for an amount equal or less than $2,500,000. So it gives her just a little bit more flexibility and responsibility in what folks think she already has. So I'd appreciate a positive confirmation of this amendment, Mr. What are you, Chairman? Mr. Chairman, thank you.
Well, the first one's okay. Members, is there further discussion or debate on the amendment? Seeing none, Representative Torbett moves for adoption. All those in favor will say aye. All those opposed, no. Ayes have it. The amendment is adopted. Okay. Representative Elmore, there are a couple of other amendments. We've got the Hardister Amendment, and there's one more, Torbett Amendment. And the staff member drafting the Torbett Amendment is the one who can speak to the Hardister Amendment. And Chair understands she's on her way over here shortly. So, Representative Elmore, do you want to speak to the bill and answer any questions now? And
Sure, that would be great.
Gentleman's recognized.
The first part of the PCS here deals with our only regional school that's in the entire state. It is funded on a different model than any way that we fund any other school. So we have been going through a process of trying to figure out what is the best way to get the money to this entity. And what this does, this restructures that. So it basically cuts out the middleman of filtering money to the systems, then the systems filtering money to the school itself. What it will do is allow the school to stand on its own to receive its money. So it treats it very similar to the School of the Deaf and Blind to kind of streamline that process of funding for them. That's the first part of the bill. And because it is the regional school, that section's quite long because all of the citations of the creation of it. The next part of the PCS deals with the protection of the state 529 plans and the NC ABLE plans. This was voted on by this chamber, I believe, unanimously before. So that's legislation that this committee specifically has seen. Then the amendment that the staff member will be talking about will change this section dealing with schools in certain zoning districts. This discussion has been taking place, and the entities working on it are the charter school entities and also the School Boards Association to try to find a proper balance of where this language needs to be. Originally proposed was allowing schools in all zoning districts, which folks were a little bit hesitant on. So the amendment that will be explained is trying to meet a balance of not limiting where schools are at, but yet they're still leaving a level of local control. The last part of the bill is just more of a transparency thing dealing with mission standards for healthcare programs in our university system, just making sure that some things are posted to a dashboard by the Board of Governors, or the Board of Governors make sure that that is posted there. And that's the contents of the bill.
Members, is there any discussion or debate while we wait on the one amendment and staff member to be here to speak to the other amendment?
Mr. Chairman,
Representative Torbett.
would like to just perhaps offer an idea, if the chairman would like. I can speak on what the amendment will actually be saying, and then upon receipt of the amendment, I can just say, this is the one I just got through speaking about. For example, I see her walking in the door now.
Yeah.
Just for the essence of time saving, whatever you'd like to do.
Sure. Well, why don't we, now that the lady is here, and I'm sure after hustling over here needs a second to regroup, we'll give her a second to do that, and try to get your amendment uploaded, Representative Torbett, and so that we don't get the folks listening, for the tens in attendance and the thousands watching at home, they don't get confused about what we're talking about.
Mr. Chairman, are there any questions about the sections I just explained? I can answer those.
If any committee members have questions or would just like to speak to the bill, Now would be the appropriate time. Representative Dixon, the gentleman's recognized.
Just a friendly statement. Representative Elmore, the expertise that you've brought to the General Assembly with all of your experience in the school system, I know of a lot of people that have appreciated it, and I'm certain that folks have told you that. But I want you to know that I appreciate very much your efforts, and it's been enlightening to me to be able to talk to somebody who has hands-on experience. In my opinion, you've done the state of North Carolina a great service, and I thank you for it.
Thank you, Representative Dixon.
Chair looks forward to seeing Representative Elmore preside next year in the Senate and taking that knowledge with him and imparting it on the folks over there in that fine chamber.
Spread the wealth.
Amen. Committee will be at ease just momentarily, but don't go anywhere. The chair expects to start within about order. Okay, Ms. McCraw, I think the committee had a question for you. If the lady wants to come on up to one of these microphones, and you can use the one in the middle if that's easier for you with your laptop. Members, we're going to go back to the Hardister Amendment, and this is Amendment 96. 96 V6 Hardister Amendment. You have that, Ms. McCraw? And Representative Clemens had a question about it. I'll let Representative Clemens ask the question.
Thank you, Kara. This is a zoning change, and I know that one of the sections of Representative Elmore's bill that he's running is a zoning change, and we're just seeing it, and I don't know zoning law. So can you summarize the differences in zoning that are happening between this amendment and the law, please?
I have not used this mic before, so apologies. I'm Kara McCraw, LAD. So what this provision would allow, there's two parts to it. 3A would only apply in certain parts of the state that meet these criteria, but it will allow any school, whether they are a public or a private school, to basically be allowed to be zoned by right in a residential area if they meet those criteria. And it would also allow them to pursue reservation of water and sewer capacity in the same way that all public schools currently can. The second part of the bill, 3B, would allow all public schools to have a right or by special use to be zoned in a commercial zone.
And follow up.
Ladies recognized.
Thank you. Can you tell me what does zone by right mean by definition?
I will admit I am probably not the right person because much like you, this is not my specialty, but my understanding is that zone by right is that when a municipality or a county has created a zoning ordinance, there are certain areas that are zoned for particular purposes, and this would allow within that area these things to have, to be able to qualify as something that could be cited within that area.
Follow up.
Ladies recognized.
Thank you. So if I were wanting to open a private or public school in these certain parts of North Carolina, I would, and it's residential zoning now, this is saying I have a right to open a school there.
That's correct.
And right now, what would it have to be zoned for me to open that private school there?
It would depend on different ordinances allow in different areas, different things to be cited within it. Oftentimes now, residential areas may not allow schools. It may be in a commercial area or in some other thing, but it would depend on the local jurisdiction what they've allowed.
Right now?
Yes.
Okay, I'd like to speak on.
Ladies recognized to speak to the amendment.
Okay. So, I think, Kara, that was the part of the bill, not Representative Hardister's amendment, right?
That was Representative Hardister's amendment. The part that's in the bill is a different variation on a similar kind of idea. It still would allow zoning by right within commercial or residential districts for public and private schools. This separates it out. Only private schools are only going to be in these certain parts of the state. The zoning by right or special use in commercial districts would only apply to public schools in the amendment. Whereas in the bill, it would apply, that provision applies to public and private schools as a whole.
Okay.
Ladies recognized.
Okay, thank you. I am just seeing this and haven't processed it, but I told Representative Elmore, schools have unique needs when you are building them. My children's school is being rebuilt now as part of a bond, and figuring out the buses entering one way and cars going another way, where the playground area is going to be. There's a lot more to building a safe school than just meet the eye. So I'll look at it more closely before you vote on it, but I do have concerns that taking away or, just saying it's residential zone now has a right to have a school there may not be in the safety best interest of kids. After going through planning schools, there's just a lot to getting a safe school built.
Members, is there further discussion or debate on the amendment? Seeing none, Representative Hardister moves for adoption of the amendment. All those in favor will say aye. All those opposed, no. Ayes have it. The amendment is adopted. Members will move now to Representative Torbett's amendment, ARQ 9V2. Representative Torbett, the gentleman is recognized. Speak to the amendment.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Both of these are relative to school safety and what we're trying to do to better connect with our students and our parents. This one, for example, will allot $750,000 out of the School Center for Safer Schools funding to develop a 90-minute presentation that will educate parents and students on the dangers of children being exposed to adult content on the internet. We've talked to teachers and parents, and this is definitely a problem. And without getting into all the nuances, we thought it best to kind of research and try to come up with the best way that we can educate parents on the harm of their children accessing this material. And once developed, the center shall offer to give the presentation to any school in the public school unit which requests a presentation. Of course, that's free. So we're trying to address an extremely serious problem with what we're doing here with this amendment. I wish we could snap our fingers and fix it. We can't. We have to find a way to get there through privacy laws and the rights of individuals. This hopefully will get us to that point. I'd appreciate a solid, strong, supportive vote. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Members, is there discussion or debate on the amendment? Representative Elmore, gentleman is recognized.
Yes, sir. I appreciate what Representative Torbett is bringing forth, but seeing that there's money involved in this, none of the other amendments have any sort of financial implication, and it is a shift of dollars. And I just don't feel comfortable doing that without review of budget chairs with it.
Members, we are waiting on one more amendment from Representative Torbett, so what the chair will do is just put the committee at ease momentarily, and perhaps Representative Torbett and Representative Elmore can speak momentarily. So we'll go back at ease for just Any further discussion or debate on the bill? Seeing none, Representative Tyson moves for a favorable report to the PCS for Senate Bill 692 as amended, rolled into a new PCS unfavorable to the original bill. All those in favor will say aye. All those opposed, no. Ayes have it, the bill receives a favorable report. Members, there being no further business before the committee is now adjourned. Thank you,
Thank you,
Representative
Mr.
Elmore.
Chair. Thank you.